This is the place we have arrived to, between land and sea.
Unraveling between skins, into the soils of our hands, within the tide of our steps.
Here we enter the rhythm between worlds.
To receive the words offered to the threshold by Tom Hirons.
The Standing Wave. It begins with the sea and the stories that you know. Other things stay no longer than breaking waves. An old dance goes with you when you leave your home, a home in the mouth of a shark. When do those strangers begin to belong as I belong to that land of my home? I became a swallow, and the air held me above water, and my stories are all that I know. It begins with the sea and that old dance step it makes, to and fro, to and fro, to and fro. And that was our home, but we must dance on new soil. And when does the stranger belong? There's a story that says that I belong and you don't. I became a swallow and trusted the air. Who will greet the stranger in these troubled times? They smuggled us like drugs through the sea. In turbulent times, the only thing that survives is carried in the cradle of your heart. It begins with the sea, the moon's mockery of all our certainties, our lives and our plans. An old dance goes with you, but who sees evil and steps back, to and fro, to and fro, to and fro. Were you ever tired? Were you ever poor, ever huddled and yearning to be free? And that was our home, but I must dance on new soil. I was in danger, and I fled into darkness. I fled all this way to be free. All I have are my stories, and when does the stranger begin to belong in my land? Home had become the mouth of a shark, and they are saying you belong and I don't. Me, a swallow or a cuckoo, in flight from my home, who will welcome the stranger they see? Who drank of the water so cool and so fresh that flows all the way to the sea? To and fro, they packed us like drugs. To and fro, to and fro, to and fro. And that was our home, in such turbulent times, cradling hope in the nook of our hearts. And you, O lamp, now you see us lying there cold, as an old dance goes on back and forth. And then we must dance the steps on new soil, to and fro, to and fro, to and fro. An old dance goes with us, and when does the stranger begin to belong? Who watches this evil and still takes no step as their vows flow away on the tide? There's a story that says that you belong and we don't. To and fro, to and fro, to and fro. It began with the sea. Were you ever tired, ever poor? Were you huddled? Were you free? We became like a flock of dull, dying birds, and this was our home by the shore. Who will welcome these strangers in these troubled times, and let us dance our old steps on this soil? In danger we fled through more danger still, on lifetimes of cold breaking waves. They smuggled us like drugs, and we danced our old dance, carried in the cradle of our hearts. And when does the stranger begin to belong, to and fro, to and fro, to and fro? Home has become the mouth of a shark in the tide and the eyes of the sea. Do you believe the story that says you belong? The wind only laughed as we made our new home, a home by the turbulent sea. My heart is a bird that flies through the air, far over the sea and its dreams. And then I must dance on new soil. I was hot, I was thirsty, I was sick and in need. There is a world beneath this world in which we are all moving, always. Who watches evil and looks away from what they behold? All we have are our tales, to and fro, to and fro. And when does a stranger begin to belong? Like drugs in a bag, passed hand to hand, we were smuggled and swindled and wronged. Who was not tired? Who was not poor? We have all of us yearned to be free. An old dance goes with you, and that was your home in turbulent times for your heart. Do you believe in the tale that says we belong? When you see your brothers embrace, an old dance goes with you, then you must dance on new soil. I was in danger and fled to the sea. A bird trusts the air to hold it aloft. The wind makes a mockery of dreams. To and fro, all I have are these tales. Who will welcome the stranger in these times? And when does the stranger begin to belong? And when did my home become the mouth of a shark? A traveller came to the well of St. Kina. Joyfully he drew nigh, but his vows flowed away on the river. Who watches evil and takes no action? What is the name for that harm of the soul? They smuggled us like drugs. Do you believe in the myth that says that you and not I can belong? And I'll dance on new soil in turbulent times, this delicate thing in my heart, to and fro, to and fro. All that I have are the tales. Were you tired? Did you yearn to be free? And then I became a swallow in flight. An old song came with me and flew. I drank the cool, clear water, for thirsty and hot was I. And when does the stranger belong in your land? And this is my home. Who will welcome me here, a stranger in such troubled times? The wind mocks my dreams, an old dance goes on, to and fro, to and fro, to and fro. Do you believe that I still don't belong, though I was in danger and more danger still? And the waves wash the shore, to and fro, to and fro. I carried you here to dance on new soil, and this is your home, little bird, little swallow, little dove. The world turns its back on the evil it will not behold. In turbulent times your heart is a cradle, swaying on the storm of the sea. A stranger must somehow find a way to belong, and my people are scattered on the tides, to and fro, to and fro, to and fro. An old dance goes with you from the mouth of a shark. Who will welcome a stranger in these times? And then you must dance to make home on new soil. Were you tired? Were you poor? Were you the stranger at some other door? Do you believe in the tale that says I belong and everything starts with the sea? The wind makes a mockery of all certainty. Home, belonging. They smuggled us like drugs to the shore. An old dance goes with you, to and fro, to and fro. I became a swallow to trust in the air. All that I have are my stories, and when does the stranger belong in the place you call home? What precious thing can survive in your heart when you watch evil and still stand aside? I drank of the water, so cool and clear, for I was thirsty and hot. I am moving, always, and never belong. And will the tide one day sweep back and the host become the stranger and the stranger become the host? What then? To and fro, to and fro. But the vows flow away on the river, he says. I was in danger and fled to danger still worse. Who will welcome the stranger in such troubled times? I belong, you belong, we are here to dance this new dance on this land far from home. To and fro, to and fro, to and fro. Will the old dance belong, and how many years till the stranger belongs who is smuggled like drugs on the sea? The wind makes a mockery of all of your plans. I am tired, I am poor, I huddled in my dreams. It begins and it ends with the sea. Like a swallow I trusted the air to hold me up, and the shark of our home circled hungry, hungry. And then I must begin to dance on new soil, and this is my home. In turbulent times, what precious thing can survive in the cradle of my heart? To and fro, do you believe in the tale that says you belong and not me? Will you welcome strangers in these troubled times, and the lamplight shows your love in some other embrace? An old dance is in you. Your old stories swirl about your head like birds. Who watches evil and takes no action? What is the name for that desecration of the soul? And when does the stranger begin to belong? To and fro, to and fro, to and fro. And stories are all that you have left. I was in danger and fled through greater danger still. Perhaps I will stay no longer than stay the breaking waves. They smuggled us like drugs. I dreamed I became a swallow, a hummingbird or a cuckoo. And as a bird I danced on new soil, and the moon laughed at my dream. I drank of the water so cool and clear from the spring in my childhood home. Do you believe it when they tell you I don't belong? What precious thing can survive such hardness of heart? Were you tired? Were you poor? Did you yearn for respite? Who will welcome the stranger at their door? An old dance goes with you, and the stranger dances it in a new land. To and fro, to and fro. Our home is a memory as we dance on the new soil of this land. As a bird trusts the air to hold it aloft, it begins with the sea, but the sharks have circled your home. But now he says that vows flow away on the river. A traveller came to the well of St. Kina. Joyfully he drew nigh. Who watches evil and takes no action? Like drugs they smuggle us, and do you see? An old song goes with us. Do you belong, and do I? In this place, to and fro, to and fro. And when does the stranger begin to belong? The moon is silent over the sea. Did you welcome the stranger in these troubled times? Did you cradle their life in your heart? For I was in danger and fled through greater danger still. To and fro, to and fro, to and fro. And then they must dance on new soil and call this home. The old dance goes with them, you see. They are swallows or hummingbirds lit by another lamp. They are tired and they are poor, yearning, aching. All that they have are their stories and the old dance that goes with them. To and fro, bundled in their dreams as they fly. Do you believe in the myth that I, and not you, can drink of cool clear water when we are thirsty? And what does it take for the stranger to belong? Who watches evil and says nothing? What is the name for that harm to the soul? There is a world beneath the world in which we are all moving, always, and never belonging. When you dance on new soil and call that your home, who will welcome you in these troubled times? An old dance goes with you, and the wind makes a mockery of all our certainties. Home became the mouth of a shark. In a turbulent age, what precious and delicate thing can survive that is not carried in the cradle of your heart? I will become a swallow, a hummingbird or a cuckoo, a bird that trusts the air to hold it above water. It begins with the sea, to and fro, to and fro. The old dance goes with me, the dance that I danced in our home. Do you believe that I belong, or that you do? I was in danger, and fled through greater danger still. My dreams stay no longer than stay the breaking waves. They smuggled us like drugs, and when will I belong? Tired and poor and only yearning to be free, and have no strength to dance on new soil to and fro, to and fro, to and fro, to and fro. Our home is a ruin, and no one trusts a stranger in troubled times. But I must dance on new soil, while eyes look away from the evil and vows flow away on the river. All that you have are your stories. These precious things can survive all trials. The wind makes a mockery of all our certainties. As a swallow, I was beaten down to fly low above the waves. It is said that I do not belong here where you can say home, and when can a stranger begin to belong? And if I must dance on new soil, what lamp will light my steps on the earth? I drink of the water so cool and clear, for thirsty and hot was I. But they smuggled us like drugs, and I have forgotten its taste. To and fro, to and fro, it began with the sea, the old dance that goes with you when home has become the mouth of a shark. I cannot look homewards yet, but who will welcome the stranger in such times? And one day we will dance on new soil. I will stop being a swallow and step out of the air. I will not be tired. I will not be poor. I will know what it means to be free. There will be no danger, and neither I nor my children will flee. All that we have are our stories, and when will you call the stranger a friend? What precious and delicate thing can survive that is not carried in the cradle of your heart? Do you believe in the myth that says we do not know each other? Who will allow this evil to go unchecked? The wind has swept away all my certainties, to and fro, to and fro. That's how the old dance goes, when we danced in our home before they smuggled us like drugs to this place. It begins with the sea and all your stories, the stories your bones know. But when you dance on new soil and strangers greet you as friends, the old dance goes on through time. Do not believe in the myth that says that one of us does not belong. We are birds that trust the air to hold us above water. The stranger will begin to belong, and the tide goes to and fro with the sea. All that I have are my stories that begin with the sea, and now the stranger belongs by my side. All that you have are your stories that began with the sea. And even though vows flow away on the river, one day they will tell the story of who welcomed the stranger in troubled times, and who watched evil and took no action, and how it began and ended with the sea. And will the tide one day sweep back, and the host become the stranger, and the stranger become the host? What then? To and fro, to and fro.